I struggle with there are lots of people who, start off with very excited, want to participate, want to join, the dialogue and the discussion, want to do something. But the vast majority of people, I don't know, are not that dynamic. ما عارفة في شنو حاصل. A lot of people, and if allow me please to just speak openly and honestly, I like to do so in this forum. People tend to stand and watch. What is that in our society? And I don't understand it. And I try to explain to people that no one is ever gonna do something for us unless we ourselves take control and go and get what we want. Um, we don't grab the bull by the horn. We stand and watch, and there is more criticism than there is support. Am I getting things wrong? Am I misunderstanding us as people?
Can I say something slightly controversial?
Go on, please.
I think we've lost. There's a system that builds leaders. And in the past sort of 20, 30 years, I agree what you were saying about political discussions. People used to sit down and talk about politics, and when growing up, I used to see that a lot. But yeah, now because people are involved with the day things. There's no electricity. There's no this. There's no that. The basics of living. They've kind of along the way they've stopped building leaders, and what successful leaders do is build good leaders. And unfortunately, we didn't have a successful leadership. But something along the lines has got lost. You mentioned the who was it mentioned, the Suriyin, al-Jo, and they have Syrians and Palestinians and people like that have leadership ingrained in their culture. And they do it in different ways. If you analyze their communities and how they build leaders and how people become independent and self-reliant, and that's missing a lot. People in Sudan, Zaman, they used to go out and they used to have part-time jobs, and they used to join debate groups, and they used to, all these things that can contribute to you becoming a good leader in Sudan are now not available to them. So how do we expect that's why we've come up with a generation of thinkers, and not doers, or not, usually you have people who are thinkers and people who are doers, or people who are both. We're missing the kind of connection, the bridge. We have a lot of thinkers, and then they get distracted doing other things, trying to just live normal life, which is quite difficult. This is that.
Yeah. Rada, yes, I agree with you. Yes.
I don't know. I just think I have. If you wanted to do another session, I have a good friend of mine who would be very very good at facilitating a session on leadership skills, and how to possibly come up with a project that would try and support leadership skills in Sudan, or something like that. I don't know.
I would definitely be interested, because believe it or not, one of our objectives, and we've got about 5 or 6, and one of them is creating inspiring and developing strong leadership in Sudan, and that is about identifying the right skills in young up and coming people, and supporting them and giving them the right tools and the opportunities to gain the right experience and guidance and mentorship, so that they become strong leaders in the future. Because yes, there is a huge gap, and I definitely would be interested in a session. Be sensitive, because living in the UK and I lived in Germany for 4 years, you learn to speak with transparency, because you rip that band-aid and you can deal with issues and you talk them through and you come up with solutions. In the long run, it's a lot easier to foster a relationship and build upon. So whatever I mention in this forum or in anaSudan has absolutely no motive, objective, double meaning. I say what I mean. I think we need to be less sensitive as a society and look at where we can create improvement. But I believe in choosing our battles. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. There are so many big problems we need to start sifting through and prioritizing, but there are quick wins. And then there are some wins that can be ongoing in the background while everything else is built around. And within that, we can start campaigns, not just one campaigns of tanweer. And knowledge sharing is a very powerful tool, and we have that knowledge. It's just then, how do we encourage people to participate in the knowledge sharing? How do we encourage people to listen? As we know with the internet, it's either that people have got, give me a 45-second video to watch, otherwise I won't watch it. Give me a 3-minute article to read, otherwise I don't have time to read it. How do you get people back to participate in debates, lectures, discussions that are meaningful? How do we do that?
يعني محتاجين له بصورة كبيرة، لأنه حتى في النهاية الانترفنشن، يعني المجتمعات لما تصل لمرحلة من التقدم، بتلقى إنه أي شخص عنده المسؤولية. يعني النظافة دي مسؤولية الجميع. والسلامة، الأمن والسلامة مسؤولية الجميع. إذا شفت حاجة بلغ عنها. إذا نحن مشينا لقدام في السيستم ده، بنقدر إنه إحنا بعد ذاك شنو، الناس كلها تبقى مسؤولة عن أي حاجة. أنت مسؤول عن نظافة منطقتك، أنت مسؤول عن إنك تبلغ عن أي خلل أمني، أنت مسؤول عن إنك تحمي الديمقراطية. حتى لو حصل انقلاب عسكري زي ما حصل في تركيا، الشعب نزل الشارع حمى الديمقراطية حقته. فأنت في النهاية الأويرنس مهم، لكن في النهاية عشان هو مهم أنت لازم تصل لأكبر عدد من الناس. تصل لأكبر عدد من الناس، يعني إذا أنتم 5 أو 6 أشخاص، أو قولوا 10 20، حتى لو كانت الأفكار كلها جميلة، دي ما حتصل الناس المحتاجين لها. ممكن تكونوا أنتم كلكم في ليفل بتاع مانجرز او ليفل بتاع اديوكيشن، هاي ليفل بتاع اديوكيشن، لكن في النهايه في ناس محتاجين للمعلومات البسيطه دي وما قادرين يتحصلوا عليها. فطول ما انه احنا قاعدين نناقش بس، وانا الكلام ده قلته قبل كده، اذا احنا قاعدين نناقش بس، اذا ما لمسنا الناس اللي قاعدين هناك، معناها نحن we are doing nothing. احنا قاعدين نناقش بيناتنا، نحن مقتنعين. هسه في الغالب احنا ما عندنا خلاف كبير، يعني ممكن يكون في واحد عنده نقطة معينة عن الثاني مركز عليها، لكن في النهاية كلنا متفقين على الكلام اللي احنا قاعدين نطلع به. لكن الكوميونتي هناك، الشباب المحتاجين للاويرنس، الليدرشيب دي واحدة من الحاجات وقالتها غادة، حاجة مهمة شديد. لأنه احنا ما عندنا الثقافة حقتنا، احنا بنتعلم من أخطائنا. احنا ما قاعدين، ما عندنا، يعني ما بنعمل اناليسيس للانسيدنت والاكسيدنت اللي قاعد تحصل لنا. تاريخنا القديم قاعد يتكرر علينا، انقلاباتنا العسكريه هي نفسها اللي قاعد تحصل. الحلول نحن ما عندنا حلول، المشكله بتحصل وبتتكرر بعد سنه سنتين وتتكرر بعد 10 سنوات. ليه؟ لانه الكريتيكال، يعني الطريقه بتاعت التفكير ذاتها المفروض تتغير. فنحن المفروض انه نحن نكون صعب، ممكن يكون اكثر شخص مؤثر فينا. ليه؟ لانه هو قاعد هناك وقاعد يصل الناس، يعني قاعد يشوف المشاكل حقت الاورفنز، او المشاكل بتاعت التشيلدرنز، او المشاكل بتاعت الناس اللي قاعدين في الكامبات. في حاجات كثيره بتقدر تعملها في السودان. انا واحده من الحاجات يعني رغم ممكن تكون حاجات ما مؤثره بصوره كبيره، لكن حتى فكره التطوع، او ممكن يكونوا في ناس هم قابلين انه يتطوعوا، لكن عاوزين مساعده قليله جدا، مساعده ماديه، في انك انت تجيب لهم ماتيريال بتاعت انهم يتحركوا بيها او يصلوا بيها، او برزنتيشن، تجهيز البرزنتيشن، تدربهم عليها، يعني تعمل ترين لناس انهم يبقوا ترينر ليتر. فدي واحده من الحاجات. المشاكل حقت السودان كثيره شديد، فالناس اذا ما خدتها مشكله، ودي كانت النقطه حقتنا حقت النقاش في الاول، انه احنا نشوف مشاكلنا احنا في السودان شنو، ونتكلم عن اي مشكله ونشوف طريقه حل. النقاش يعمل هايلايت للموضوع، لكن في النهايه لو ما بيقوا في ناس مفكرين قعدوا على اساس انهم يصلوا للحلول دي بصوره موضوعيه، او بصوره بتاعت بروبوزل زي ما قالتها غاده، احنا ما حنقدر نطلع منها باوت كم، يعني نقدر نقدمه للمجتمع، ولا نقدر نقدمه لحكومه، ولا نقدر نقدمه لاي شخص. فبس دي الحاجه اللي
Musab
انا
is on the ground, and Musab did a bit of a survey with the Shabab in Sudan, because we've been trying a couple of things to try to galvanize their participation with us. We've tried doing a session معهم, an interview that Musab has been doing, السودان بعيون شبابه, to see الحاجات هم من their point of view and their perspective on various different topics, حتى النقاشات اللي احنا بنعملها on a Saturday. So I'm gonna let Musab give us a bit of a synopsis of what he's finding out from talking to different young people, and then we can carry on the conversation. تفضل مصعب.
عموما زي ما قلت لك احنا كنا عملنا كل المحاولات اللي احنا هنقدر عليها، يعني أنا باعتباري انا كنت في ارض الواقع وبتلاقى معاهم كل يوم بتواصل معاهم، احنا عملنا كل حاجه ممكن انه نخليهم يجوا معانا اون بورد كل يوم سبت، لكن بعد ذاك احنا ما بنلقى. حتى لما بقيت تقول لي انه خلاص يا مصعب احنا هنعمل السودان بعيون شباب، على الاقل برضه ننزل لهم برضه لحد عندهم برضه، يعني بمشي بتكلم مع كم نفر خلاص بيوعدوني انه حيجي يسجل حلقه، بعد ذاك ما بيجوا او بيعتذروا باعذار، يعني ما بعتبرها نوت اكسبتبل بالنسبه لي، او ما اعذار قويه انه زول اعتذر من تسجيل حلقه في اي وقت هو عاوز. لكن برضه يعني احنا هسه عاملين اكشن كويس في اي حاجه احنا بنعملها، بنطلع حلول. الحلول دي بتتحول زي كامبين، زي حاجات احنا اللي بنعمل فيها هسه دي. الفورم بتاع سدرو دي الفات كان برضه بيتكلم عن التربيه، وزي ما شفنا محمد سيد احمد كان قايده كيف، وكان طلع بانه حيكون عامل مبادره بتاعت انه يعني زي حلقات تتنشر مع دكتور مبارك مامان وزوجته ساره اكرت، يوروا الناس طريقه التربيه. يس ايوه. طيب هو عموما السيرفي اللي رسلته لك يا رندا هو كان عموما كله محتاج انه الاسئله كلها كانت انت لو توفرت لك خبرات حتكون محتاج منها شنو. الناس اتقسمت في انه احنا عاوزين منهم يورونا طريقه نجاحهم مشوه كيف والعقبات اللي لقيتهم شنو. الحاجه الثانيه في ناس قالوا عاوزين دعم مثلا يكون مادي، حاجات كثيره يعني اللي هو يعني انا برضو شايف انه انه يوروك طريقه نجاحهم وكذا، دي احنا عاملين الفورم، وكل مره احنا بنرسل انه يا اخوانا تعالوا ادخلوا معانا الفورم عشان تشوفوا الناس ديل او تتكلموا معاهم او تتواصلوا معاهم، فبرضه احنا بنلقى استجابه. فنحن لما احنا عملنا كل حاجه تقريبا بايدنا انه عشان هم يجونا والناس تديهم الاكسبيرينس بتاعتهم، الاكسبرتيز بتاعتهم، لكن برضه يعني في جاب بيناتنا لسه ما معروف هل باعتباره من الشبكه من السودان هم ما عاوزين.
Okay, great. شكرا مصعب. So a few things أنا ومصعب we were talking about. في a real problem obviously with connectivity. في مشكلة حقت إنترنت، في الكهرباء بتكون مرات قاطعة ما يقدروا يشحنوا الأجهزة حقتهم. في مشكلة about trust and I think there is a part of that. وفي مشكلة حقت إحباط. I think a lot of young people, and from my understanding and from conversations with young people, new graduates حتى بيقول لي في السودان أنا ما أعرف أعمل شنو. I want to do something but I don't know what to do. I almost want someone to tell me what to do. So I'm going to open the floor again to you guys to jump in and give any comments or thoughts and ideas. Mohammed, اتفضل.
I was actually writing for comment, we really needed Mubarak Maman in this session. We had a private talk before about the issue of motivation. Motivation هو بيخلق الانرجي، والانرجي اللي بيخلي زول يكون active. فالشباب في السودان one of the things that creates motivation, because we're talking about the classroom, هو acknowledgement of my person. Once my own dreams are acknowledged and my person is kind of acknowledged and respected, بعد كده أنا بكون motivated to engage. ودائما acknowledgements دي هي personal. فأنا كنت أخذت لي كورس بتاع life coaching. I took it kind of backwards because it seems I was practicing life coaching with students without realizing it. But هم قالوا لي what you're doing is life coaching. So I went and took a course just to figure out what it is. واحدة من ال first step في life coaching هي أنت بتسأل الزول for you yourself يعني can you try to imagine yourself يعني what is your dream اللي أنت بتفتكر إن هي impossible to achieve لكن it's really your dream. And دي is really very personalized. أول ما زول يبدأ يقول لك this is what I dream of etc. لكن it's not gonna happen, but this is my dream. But then we move from that to the real situation right now. Okay, so right now you're here. How do we get to that dream? What steps are we going to take? But then, as الشخص نفسه بيبدأ to start to engage and look at the different steps. حتى when they look at obstacles, one of the questions that you ask this person is, okay, if these are the obstacles, how would you يعني learn to overcome these obstacles? ده بيخلق engagement. أنا the reason I bring this up is because في واحدة من الجامعات اللي أنا اتنقلت من أكثر من واحدة، في واحدة من الجامعات كان الدiscussion عن الطلبة إنه هم تعبانين في سنة أولى جامعة، الإنجليزي بتاعهم تعبان. The best they can do is إنه نطلب منهم يعملوا 3 sources, to cite 3 sources in their essays. So I walked into the classroom thinking, okay, this is not really, يعني this probably is not enough للطلبة. At the end of the semester, the average was 25 sources. Like, and I had an 18-year-old student who used 36 sources, and the essay was so, there was so much depth in it that one of the other professors commented that this 18-year-old first-year student wrote what could be a master's essay. Like, in the reason she managed to kind of get motivated to do all of this work was because the topic was her own. And it wasn't an essay topic that was imposed للفصل كله. Everyone got to choose their own topic. طبعا المشكلة في this kind is it's very kind of labor intensive. معناها I had to work with students individually instead of as a class. So I had to dedicate about 12 hours a week of office hours to work with the students. لكن I think the issue is إنه maybe the approach بدل ما الواحد to couch a question is what can you do for Sudan? Maybe the question should be what can you do for yourself? And what do you want for yourself individually? And this individuality will create the leadership. لأنه I think ممكن غادة to comment on this. When we talk about leadership, it starts with a leader is a person that does not really need to lead other people, but it's a person who will actually take the initiative themselves, whether they will be followed or not. خليت الإشي بتاع leadership. احنا قبل ادينا مثال السوريين والفلسطينيين احنا شايفينهم هنا. السوريين لما يجوا when they started their own businesses became self-reliant. They were not thinking of people doing what they were doing. Once you start yourself and taking the initiative, that's actually sufficient. That's all that's needed. كان في سنة 88 and I choose 1988 مخصوص عشان it's before ال 30 years دي عشان اوري الissue of lack of leadership موجود في السودان من بدري. If people remember كان في the huge floods. الخرطوم تقريبا was flooded بالمويه، وفي كلية الطب في المشرحة والميوزيوم في البيسمنت بتاع كلية الطب جامعة الخرطوم. It was completely flooded completely. وكان في واحد من الطلبة بيحكي لي إنه we were standing المويه جاية لحد ركبنا outside and بنتحسر على المشرح بتاعتنا was completely flooded. فقال suddenly a Land Rover just drove in and one of the professors, senior professor, طلع من التراك بتاعته وشال جردل ملاه بمويه and he walked all the way to شارع ودفق المويه هناك. He did this a couple of times. فقال نحن we were being very sarcastic with each other with our comments لأنه زي الزول بيفضي في النيل. it's impossible انك انت تحاول to empty ال grounds outside من المويه خليك من تصل البيسمنت. لكن قال he kept doing that for quite a while and then we felt ashamed إنه at least some of us should go and take these buckets away from the professor. As soon as we approached him قال لهم there are other buckets in Land Rover. So we started distributing the buckets and we were removing this water. It looks like an impossible job to do. لكن قال by the next day they worked 24 hours and they couldn't leave because he was working. He just kept removing this water. قال by the next morning they were drying الكورنرز بتاع البيسمنت من المويه. جاب هو خيش بتاع الشوالات في اللاند روفر عشان الناس تفضي. فبasically within 24 hours they actually removed all the water من البيسمنت. تخيلي basement فيها theater مشرحة completely filled with water, and students managed to remove it. And actually I know this person, الدكتور ده نفسه, I know him and my son's named after him because of these kind of things that he does. He takes the initiative on his own regardless of whether he will be led or not. If then the starting point probably should be إنه a group of young women and men في السودان في الجامعة هتسألهم انتوا what do you want for yourself? What do you want to achieve yourself? Then if you can't achieve for yourself, you probably would not be able to help others. You need to first start with self-help.
Very well summed. Ghada, do you want to come in? I think Muhammad asked you. Yeah.
Well, I think it was a really nice story, actually. Just listening, but what it highlights to me is, I know there's a lot we can learn from the older generation, not just to follow in their footsteps, but to learn how what kind of things they had to go through to become these kind of leaders. يعني what I feel now is the same thing Muhammad was saying, and a lot of the other people were saying, is people don't know what they want. They don't know how to, and even if they do know what they want, they don't know how to achieve it. So there's a lot of, and we always focus on young people, but there's so much we can learn from the older generations, and the kind of things there's some fantastic stories, and I can think of a few people like that professor who have these kind of skills and things that they could share with the younger generation to be able to address some of the problems and priorities at the moment.
So I think, and it's interesting you mentioned that, because one of the things that came out after Thawra, people were saying أنسوا عن الناس الكبار ديلا. In fact, you find they were talking about the الناس الكبار العجايز being, oh, if you're over 40, 45, خلاص انت عجوز, they're not interested. And you got stuff like that, or you got views that, oh, keep any politician out of the debate or the conversation, and you can't work in isolation like that. And I think we've touched on it. So yes, the older people have to inspire and mentor and support the younger ones and pass them that knowledge. There is practical knowledge, and practical knowledge is gold dust. So yes, example I think Muhammad definitely highlights, if that professor didn't have that leadership, personal leadership, to go and beyond all the odds and whatever anybody thinks, and whatever whatever help he gets, he's going to go and he has an idea in his mind that's going to work, and he's going to do it at all costs. And that inspired other people to come along the journey with him. So that is leadership. And yes, I think definitely young people lack leadership, because I remember one specific young lady. I was in Sudan in January, and I asked her the question. I said, well, so what are you going to do now? She goes, I have no idea. Maybe you can tell me what I can do. I was shocked. She didn't even give herself the opportunity to dream or imagine what she could do. And that is a little bit sad in a way, but I think it gives us the opportunity, people who have been lucky to grow up outside and have opportunities. We can be mentors. Those conversations, it could be a simple conversation. I use Mus'ab again. Mus'ab comes up with a couple of examples, and I won't give away the surprise that's gonna be unveiled next week, but it's literally Mus'ab comes with an idea. I was too busy with work and with everything that's going on. And I didn't go back to him. I said, send me a proposal. I'll look into it. He chased me up again, and he chased me up again. And he was so passionate about his idea. I said, right, Musab, it's a great idea. We're going to make it happen. And within a week, his idea is going to be realized into something absolutely fantastic. And I'm pretty sure everybody's going to fall in love with it. I won't give it away. But again, Mus'ab is sat in Sudan. Mus'ab's education has been disrupted 2 years in a row because last year through a protest, this year through coronavirus. He should have been a 4th year engineering student, mechanical engineering. Today, Mus'ab is still 2nd year mechanical engineer, but it's not stopping him. He's carrying on and he's gaining all this experience, and he's so brave to come up with ideas, and that is leadership in my mind. But he needs the group of people to support him. So I feel that maybe through anaSudan we can create a network of mentors. I think that would be a great help to a lot of young people. They can find somebody to throw ideas around with, someone to just give them that push, that impetus for them to give themselves permission to have a dream, and for that mentor to sort of give them that helping hand in small ways. And I think we need to keep reminding people for Sudan, not everything has a solution of a $sign or a pound sign written next to it. I know we all need money to survive, but money is not always the answer, and it's not the start of everything. It doesn't have to be the start of everything. There's lots of things that can be done by creating networks.
Yeah, actually, it's really interesting. The anaSudan network. And we should again thank you with Rada. Kind of I add my kudos and commendations. لأنه there are a lot of things that have come out of this network that were not really part of my. I thought part of my day-to-day work. لكن كل الحاجات اللي أنا اشتركت فيها so far هي حاجات كانت at the back of my mind. They were just like, I was thinking someday I'm gonna end up doing these things, and then suddenly they're all happening. But now actually on my mind, I'm quite curious about Mus'ab's surprise for next week. Lakin I have to say something also about Mus'ab and the way you've mentored Mus'ab. One of the things that are really interesting is that Inti Gabel, you had this phrase where you said permission to dream.
Yeah.
And that is really interesting. لأنه أنا I've received 2 or 3 direct questions من مصعب on WhatsApp. يعني معلش يا مصعب لكن this is actually a good thing. يعني برسل لي message بيقول لي سلام محمد, and then he waits until I see the message, and as soon as I say أهلين مصعب عليكم السلام, then he fires a question. And the questions, usually he already has an objective. He knows what he wants, right? فبقول okay, I want to reach this objective. How do I get there? I've been trying this and that. So and then I respond and I say, why don't you try this? And then he comes back and he says it worked or it didn't work. And then I say, why don't you try that? But actually, the issue بتاع mentorship is really interesting. لأنه it looks like a mentor هو a leader, while in fact it's the other way around. A leader هو المنتي اللي gives himself permission to dream, okay, and gives himself permission to contact a person that may be able to provide a suggestion. And the nicer thing about it, لو قدرنا نعمل كده مع كل الشباب والشابات في السودان, إنه they would contact and say, this is what I want, how do I get there? And they should feel a permission that is إنه it's almost like a right. If you want as a mentor to give me direction, go ahead. If you don't, there are others. I'm just يعني I know في محل مصعب fine, لما بتصل بأي زول I think that may be able to help. If they ignore me, let them ignore me. في مثل هنا في كندا بيقولوا don't say no to yourself. ودي نحن أنا كزول سوداني لما جيت هنا في الأول I want to contact different people and I have different places that I want to work, etc. ففي واحدة مرة أتذكر مرة جامايكية عجوزة جدا, she's almost 80 years old, قالت لي just email them. قلت لها but what if they don't like it? What if I've interrupted them? What if they say no? فقامت قالت لي you're saying no to yourself. You don't know what they're going to say. And if they say no or ignore you, خلاص just go to the next one. يعني it's not a big deal. في السودان عندنا مشكلة cultural بتاعت الناس. الناس بتخاف تعمل حاجة عيب, بتخاف الناس الكبار تنزعلهم, بتخاف او ده جزء من الكالتشر بتاعنا that we have to يعني remove الخوف ده and give people permission to dream.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
That's a great summary. Really, really great summary. Thank you very much. I say, there is something about learned behaviors and relationship between what's nurture and what's nature. And I feel I am lucky because throughout particularly my career, I found various different people in various jobs that I had where they adopted me as a mentee and they started mentoring. One job where my manager, and he was my boss's boss, he came to me and said, Brenda, we want you to apply for this particular job. And I had no interest or intention to apply because I thought, I don't have the right experience. I don't know if I want to stay with this company. And he convinced me to go for it. So much so he said, you never know, you may not actually get the job. Why don't you just go and interview and see what happens? Sure enough, I go and get the job and I get the job. And that literally kicked off my career. Just needed that person to believe in what my capability, give me the right tools, mentor me and inspire me to be able to move forward. And if we can do that for young people in Sudan, I think we can unlock a whole host of
انا معنا في الليل شبكتنا كعب شديد لانه كهرب قاطع من امبارح. فانت سامعيني كده؟
ايوه سامعينك، اتفضل.
اول حاجه شكرا لك برندا، وشكرا محمد سيد احمد، لانه قلت انه حقيقه يعني انا بكون مبسوط انه زول بيكون برا السودان شايل هم انه الناس في السودان، ودي ما بيعملها الا الزول الناجح. يعني زول الناجح ما بخاف من نجاح الباقيين زي ما بقولوا هنا، يعني انه الزول الناجح بيكون منتور لاي زول اللي بيدي النولج بتاعته لاي زول محتاجه. فشكرا لكم شديد لانه هم يعني انا كنت يعني هو قال انه انا اكشوال ليدر، لكن انا ما بقيت ليدر الا بعد ما عرفتكم يعني صراحه.